Hello, this is Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech taking on another controversial topic today, hopefully with a little more level-headed perspective. I'd really like to hear people's feedback on this particular topic. I'm looking at Magic the Gathering Online and Heroes of Hearthstone. Why am I doing this? Well, this is some quotes from an article in GamesBeat, July of last year, and it really... Feel free to take a moment, pause, read through this. But what I really pulled away from this particular article is that Wizards isn't taking Heroes of Hearthstone seriously as a competitor. I also saw some things over the financials at the end of the year from Wizards that they themselves, when reporting to Hasbro, were not looking at Heroes of Hearthstone as a direct competitor. And when Hearthstone came out, I myself did not see it as a competitor. I was pretty bored playing. I played a little bit free play. And then something major has started to happen in the community. These are three of my favorite members of the MTG community. Patrick Sullivan, kind of the Red Deck Wins player. During the weekend with Modern Masters, he's playing Heroes of Hearthstone also, playing a very interesting Warlock deck there. Brian Kibler at this point pretty much only streams Heroes of Hearthstone, or at least that's the major majority of what he's streaming, and I see him as a big icon in the Magic community. And then we've got the Mana Source over here, which is one of my favorite channels online, playing Heroes of Hearthstone, being retweeted by McQuacks, one of my other favorite MTGers. Heroes of Hearthstone is directly competing with Magic the Gathering, and it's taking a good amount of the time and focus from Magic and moving it over to that game. To be honest, I myself am also playing it, and I'll get into some of the reasons a little bit later. I really got into MTGO heavily when I was living in Washington, D.C. I greatly enjoyed Washington, D.C. I didn't have a Magic community when I lived in the heart of D.C. Everybody I was around was super heavy into law, which was great. That's what I was there for, doing copyright policy stuff. But nobody had hobbies. We worked 12 plus hours a day, and on weekends we went to parties that were designed around professional networking. And I really missed that hobby aspect, and I played a lot of MTGO online in the middle of the night, because it's there 24/7, very accessible, and MTG is really my favorite game. It's up there with chess one of the best games ever created, and it's got a lot of positives for me. So it helped me living in a city where I didn't feel like I had a community to connect with people online. I'd like to do a head-to-head comparison between these games and talk about what's currently going on in the market. First, the cost aspect between these games is staggering. To play in an event for MTG, you're looking at about $15 to $30 after tax. To play in an event for Heroes of Hearthstone, you're looking at about $3 to go through a draft and have a good shot at winning some prizes. To buy individual cards, the most that any individual card in Hearthstone is going to cost you is about $20 to $30. You can pick up 15 packs, dust everything, and make that one card that you're missing for a deck. If you're missing cards in MTGO, they can be significantly expensive. Misdirection, I know, is a little bit of an outlier at $110, and we'll hopefully see a reprint, but even things like Wastelands are $60, $70. So on the cost side, Hearthstone is much more appealing to new players. Although, as somebody who likes Magic Finance, I see this as a wash because there's a long-term resellability cost to your MTGO account. You cannot sell your Hearthstone account. So if you're going to put some money in, it's nice to also be able to get it out. On the skill side, MTGO is so much more skill intensive. The metagame in Heroes of Hearthstone appears more like rock, paper, scissors, or now that we've got enough cards, over 400 of them, the decks are getting a little more complicated. There's a little more going on, but they don't compare to Legacy or to Vintage. There are no interactions that are as interesting as Stifle or cards as powerful as Lion's Eye Diamond. So from a skill perspective, Magic is winning threefold down on this particular subject. And this is why I am still a huge fan of Magic and why I will be doing some Magic streaming here in the next few months. I've been working on setting it up on my computer. My internet connection seems to hate me, but we're ironing that out currently. Free-to-play is a very important aspect of gaming. It really gets people in the door. If you can provide a free-to-play portion of a game, it acts as a gateway, and then people want to buy things like hats in Team Fortress, or backgrounds, or other ways to monetize the game. Valve really understands this. Heroes of Hearthstone, if you've got skills, you can free-to-play extremely well. You can play ladder all day, and you can also play arena, and once you hit that 7 win marks, you're profiting enough gold to play again and free packs. That's very, very difficult to do right now on MTG. On MTGO, you really have to hit that 8-4 draft or hit that 4-3 draft and be in that top 12% that hits that higher end, or you just can't do it. It's very difficult to go infinite, and the game quality of non-tournament games is nowhere near what it is of tournament games. So on the free-to-play side, on that gateway introductory side, Hearthstone is clearly winning this one. And this is why it's growing so quickly. And free-to-play players translate into fans that will spend money at some point when it becomes available. The next area I really want to look at is innovation. What are each of these sides doing to innovate with regards to an online medium? Wizards of the Coast has started to look at some pretty cool things. I like Tempest Remastered. I like the idea of being able to take those old nostalgic sets, improve upon them, and give us a great draft experience. On the other hand, Heroes of Hearthstone is taking and providing kind of this adventuring content, this video game-like content that you can work your way through. Everybody that I've talked to really likes that adventuring content if they're more of a casual player. I myself like the nostalgic content. This could be a wash, but in most people that I've talked to, they definitely see the adventuring content as a win for Hearthstone. Multi-platform, this is one of the big things that moved me towards playing Hearthstone. I commute for over an hour every day. I've got an Android tablet. When it comes to MTGO, I'm stuck only playing it on a Windows device. It's not available to play on phones. We've had years for Wizards to look at multi-platform, and instead they've put the time into Duels of the Planeswalker or other products instead of making MTGO something that can be played cross-platform. And I think that's a big mistake. Hearthstone is winning this one. The next area is really streaming, and that is how much fun are the two games to watch when individuals are streaming. And I've got two of the best streamers here, Sean McLaren, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, and Trump. And I've watched both of their streams. I enjoy watching a lot of the streams that Channel Fireball does. I enjoy watching Randy Bueller's streams when he's working on the Mox Boarding House stuff. I'm a Magic junkie, and these are great. Unless you're a Magic junkie, though, they can feel a little like paint drying. They can be very slow at times. The timer is very long. There's a lot of dead time in between plays. If somebody goes AFK, they can be gone for a long period of time. Hearthstone is a much faster paced game. There's very little downtime comparatively. The timer has been set up in a way that worst case scenario, you have short periods of time to wait. From a streaming perspective to the public, I've got to give a win at this point to Hearthstone. There are ways that Wizards could improve the timing aspects in MTGO to make it more interactive and make it less dead time. There are also ways that they could look at redoing the tournament system so there is less wait time in between games. If there was a way to play against a larger pool and automatically get pooled against the next open person in a tournament, that is much more interesting to me than waiting for your particular pairing. As a streamer, that dead downtime is a big negative. The fact that you also have to join a particular queue in order to really get the prize support that you're looking for is also a negative. Now this is the last area that I'm looking at, which is deck construction. MTG is fascinating for deck construction. You've got probably 10,000 plus cards online, several hundred that are tournament viable, amazing, interesting cards. There are more tournament-worthy great cards in MTG than there are total cards in Hearthstone. At this point, deck construction in Hearthstone is boring to me. I enjoy looking at deck lists, tournament reports, history. Now that's part of the 20 plus years that MTG has, and Hearthstone will eventually catch up to that. But right now, Magic Online, as a deck builder, as somebody who likes to homebrew, is crushing Hearthstone. When I come down to dividing these things out, because of the heavy skill perspective on MTGO, I give it an equal rating at this point. Hearthstone is easier for newer players, it costs a lot less, and it's more fun to watch. If it wasn't for deck construction and that 20-year history and a really skill-intensive game, Hearthstone would be crushing it. 3 years from now, I'm greatly concerned that Hearthstone will be winning this battle 9-2. Wizards needs to take Hearthstone seriously as a competitor in the marketplace to Magic. As the game grows, the skill perspective and the deck building perspectives, which is where Magic is really winning right now, could start to favor Hearthstone. Now I have a question for you as my community. I'm doing some content on another channel that covers Hearthstone and board games, and I'm considering moving that content over here. I am not removing any of my Magic content. In fact, I'm increasing the amount of content that I'm doing per week for Magic. I'm asking you, would you like to see that content here on this channel? Or is this really a Magic only place for you? How would it affect you as a subscriber if I added in Hearthstone and board gaming content to this channel? I'm going to put 2 comments below. One of them, yes, I would like to see other gaming content, or no, I'm a Magic purist and I'm here just for Magic. Put a thumbs up on which of those you agree with and any comments that you have underneath, because this channel is built for you, the individuals that interact with me every time I post something, and I would like to get your reaction before making a decision on this. Thanks. This has been Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech. Thank you to everybody who's over there on Patreon supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I am working on my next speculation video, which should be out early next week. Warning, if you don't know what's going on, check out what's happened recently with Cunning Wish and Blood Moon. You're just going to blow your mind. Thanks. Look forward to the next video and looking at the comments.